Hi there, I'm so excited to have you back here today because we're talking about how to manifest whatever it is that you want, and I am a so-called manifesting queen. Seriously, the stuff that I've called into my life is pretty amazing, and I can't wait to help you to manifest even more amazing stuff that is even beyond my wildest dreams for you. So where do we start when it comes to manifesting? First of all, if you haven't seen it already, do check out my Law of Attraction video, Feng Shui and Law of Attraction, because that's going to give you some of my insights about where manifesting comes from and how Feng Shui and manifesting actually work together. So that'll be a good insight for you. Second of all, when we start with manifesting, one of the big things is the idea of clarity about what it is that you want. So I'm going to tell you a funny story first about clarity, because I knew that I had my apartment all set up for love and I was ready to call in the person into my life. All the Feng Shui done, and I even had that tips on other work that I was doing in Feng Shui, other than Feng Shui, to call in love into my life. You can check out that video as well. But I remember realizing when I met a friend of mine and she was showing me her beautiful engagement ring that, that I had no idea what kind of engagement ring I wanted. So we had this kind of like, I had this total moment. I was looking at her ring, I was like, wow. And she's like, it's exactly what I wanted. And that line like dropped so deeply into me. And I was like, hang on a minute, I don't know what kind of ring I want. I knew that I wanted to meet someone, but I had no idea what kind of engagement ring I wanted. So off I trotted to the Pinterest, first of all, and I set up a secret board of engagement rings. And then I went off to the two shops, and I tried on engagement rings. So, you know, I'm a big fan. If you have heard me say this one time, you see me heard it say 100 times, action is not the word attraction for no reason. So I even went to shops and tried on engagement rings. Now this story gets even more amazing because I actually couldn't decide between two types of rings, and I popped them up on my vision board, and I also popped a band with diamonds on the vision board. Now, when Ken and I did finally get engaged, I got a beautiful ring that's exactly what I like, pretty much nearly identical from the vision board. But I hadn't really thought I wanted a diamond band, even though I had it on my vision board. And we went to meet the jeweler, and the jeweler was like, you've got to have diamonds on that band. And I was like, oh, okay. And I looked at my vision board, hey presto, there it is. Now, a year later, my mom comes to visit and hands me a beautiful gift of another diamond ring. And I'm looking up at my vision board going like, oh my God, wow. So seriously, I manifested some crazy stuff. And this is a really fun one because it's real life, but also I was not attached to it, which is a big one. Now, how Feng Shui comes into play with manifesting what you want is you have to, again, get clarity with what you want, and then you have to create the space for what it is that you want. So for example, I created the space and I took action. So I first of all looked at the shops, I looked on Pinterest, I created a little vision boards and had looked at rings. Then I went out and I actually literally tried on rings and got clear with that. Then I took action in terms of calling in love, but I created my vision board and I put those images up there. Now, the next thing I did was I actually activated my love and marriage area. So you may be like, I don't want an engagement ring, Patricia. I don't want diamond rings. What I want you to do with this video is to replace engagement rings with sports car, new job, beautiful new home, whatever it is that you want. You have to get really clear with what it is. Get your pen and paper out and start to write down, and write down from a place of I'm excited. Like, it was exciting, it was fun. I was doing that manifesting from a very light-hearted place, but also a real knowing, like inner knowing, that this is ultimately going to be my truth, that I was going to meet someone who was going to want to propose to me and get me a beautiful ring that I would love. And I had that inner deep knowing. So if you don't have that kind of like, oh maybe, but that it's not going to happen, I would totally tap into and maybe do some work around that, of like beliefs of it, you being worthy and allowing it to happen. But what I would also say to you is that you have to get that sense of clarity, but do it from a place of lightness. Do it from a place of expansion. You know, I wasn't looking at like tiny little rings. I was looking at like big, expensive diamond rings, and I had no idea of the how. I wasn't sitting there going like, I'm going to meet the guy on this date at this place and blah, 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 blah. That's not the case. It's like really coming from a place like, imagine if it was all available to me. What would I put down? Like, what would I have? What would it look like? So if it, for example, was your dream car, you know, have you actually gone and test drove it? I did this as well for my first car a couple of years ago. I actually remember cycling to the garage to see the Renault Megane, and I parked my bike up and locked it up, and I went for a drive in this orange Renault Megane, and I spoke to the man, and the man said to me, well, you know, it'll be 16,000 euros. And I was like, okay, amazing. Thank you so much. Well, sure, I'll let you know. And I headed off. And honestly, at that time, I was probably earning about 1,000 to 1,500 euros a month. So the chances of me getting a brand new 16,000 euro car were like pretty out of my literally span at the time. But honestly, a few months later, I ended up getting not a brand new one, it was a nearly new Renault Megane, and actually the spec was better than the orange one I test drove. And it was all these kind of crazy synchronistic things, but I had already driven the car, I had had the feel of it, and I had gone from a place of like, I wasn't in the garage going like, where's my car? Like, this is my car, like, and feeling heavy and wondering every day about it. The next thing when it comes to feng shui is finding the area that aligns with what it is that you want in your home. So if, for example, it is your dream car or it was like money, you would look at the southeast area of your home. So you can go and check out my video all about feng shui. I have several videos about feng shui for money. I also have feng shui for love. So you can go and check out those areas and those videos and learn more about the specifics. But when we're talking about general things, my next thing for you to do in terms of your home is to start looking around your home and let go of things. Like, let go of anything that is not serving you anymore, that you haven't used in like 6 months. And why would I say to you, let go of things? Whatever it is that you want to come into your life, it needs space. It needs space to come in. So my recommendation is going to some cupboards or some places that things haven't been moved in a while and let go of a few pieces. And when you let go of it, you're like, I'm replacing this with a new client. I'm replacing this with my new car, you know, and just like allow that sense of flow to flow into your life. And when you start to tapping into the flow and doing it from a place of abundance, that there's always more of things, that if you're kind of resistant to letting go of something, no, I don't want to let it go, that can also like restrict the flow of things coming back to you. So really tapping into it being easy and joyful, letting it go with joy so you can welcome in new things with joy and get that clear of what you're letting go of and what you're calling in when you let go of different things. So I have an incredible guide for you that is a checklist that's going to show you room by room what exactly you can be doing to improve the flow of energy and activate feng shui in your home. This guide and checklist is usually just for my clients, so you're in luck that you'll be able to get it today as a gift from me. You can grab that guide at patricialohan.com/checklist, and that will move you through every single room to feng shui your space and get that flow of all the things that you want coming into your life easy peasy. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I love manifesting cool, crazy things, and I want you to have fun with this, play with it. And you know, those ones like the car and the ring are quite like, they're like bigger, more expensive. Like, you know, the ring actually was linked to a soulmate, like, so that's even more like complex in terms of attracting. But start small, start simple. Like, start to think about, you know, somebody buying you a coffee or buying you a book or something simple. And then, you know, and that will be an easy one that you could like get your book and replace your book with another book. Like, I'm letting go of this book and someone's going to give me a book. And then start to play with it and start to get that sense of belief that these things start to happen and trusting that it will start to work for you, and any of the things that you can conceive, you can have. Now, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I would love to hear any of the amazing things that you have manifested in your life, because you are already an amazing manifester. You just haven't actually written a list of all the things you have. So please share with me below, what are the things that you've manifested that were just amazing and maybe a surprise, or maybe you set your intention. Tell me the story. I can't wait to hear and to support you in celebrating calling in even more new things. And maybe also tell me what you are calling in.